Welcome to Tabletop Misfits. This is Anthony with another Tearing It Up. Today we're looking at Magic the Gathering Innistrad Crimson Vow, the Commander deck Spirit Squadron. These are pre-constructed decks, of course, that basically encompass an entire Commander deck in a box, so you can just bust it open and start playing. This is a Spirit-themed deck, and I'm really excited to take a look at it. Big thanks to Cool Comics and Games for getting this out to us. Again, those guys are great. Check them out if you're in Cape Coral anytime. Thanks again. So we're going to take a look at this here real quick. We're going to bust this on open. Let's get this lovely cardboard sound going. I'm not going to be too salty in these videos because, as many probably already know, these are pre-constructed decks. There's nothing to luck out of the packs. It's all pre-built. So yeah, no salt meter on this one, guys. This has a Millicent, Restless Revenant, and we'll go over it there. I can't say that 3 times fast. It's going to be difficult. But anyway, like most of the Commander decks, you get these little chaff and things you can unbox, but we're not terribly interested in all that. It's pretty basic stuff. Going to open the Commander box itself. Let's see, we got junk. Woo! We got your standard poster. Now, I'll just open this up briefly. But it's got your usual Commander rules on here on how to play, in case you haven't played before, and a general gist of the main character. My favorite's the Lumberjack Zombie. This one was a captain of a guard of a small township, and she became a ghost because she obviously got murdered, because it's Innistrad, and murder is kind of like everything in a bag of chips, apparently. So we're going to open the deck itself. This comes with a nice blood counter, life counter here, with a bat on it. I kind of dig it. It's cool. And that's pretty much it. Kind of standard Commander stuff for those that open this. You guys are probably more interested in taking a look at the cards, more than likely, for those that aren't. That haven't done this kind of stuff before. Again, this is all you need to play Commander. You can grab one of these decks, and I was particularly excited about this one because it's a Spirit-based deck, which Spirits have been throughout Magic's history, but there's never really been a ton of good Spirit Commanders. I mean, there are a few, but there's not a ton of, let's just say it's I think, a trouble that doesn't get a ton of love. So we'll take a look at our face Commander. We have Millicent, Restless Revenant. She's a legendary creature, Spirit Soldier. She costs 5 colorless and a white and a blue. Now that's really expensive. However, there's usually a catch, and this one has a catch. This costs 1 less to cast for each spirit you control. So she'll be really cheap, hopefully, by the time you get around to getting her out. She flies. She's a 4/4. When her or another non-token spirit you control dies or deals damage to a player, you create a 1/1 spirit token. So she keeps spitting out spirits, which is a thing we love for tribal, definitely. So I'm kind of digging that. That's actually really nice. And white and blue encompass most of the spirit colors. I think all the spirit colors we want. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there's spirits in so many other colors. Our next one, legendary creature, human wizard, Donald, Herald of Wings. He's 2 colorless, 2 blue. Whenever you cast a non-legendary creature spell with flying, you can copy it, except the copy is a 1/1 spirit in addition to his other types. Wow. That guy's really good, although they did add a caveat. You can only do it once each turn, sadly. So, I mean, you can really break this guy if he wasn't once a turn. So not bad. I mean, it'd be great. I'd really like it when you could break him, but sadly you can only get 1 token out of him a turn. So helpful, but not broken. Crush Contraband. Now this is kind of where we get into the uncommons. These are kind of reprints. Not everything in these decks are new. By the way, they usually add like 15 to 19 new cards. Everything else is reprinted, but they usually have some decent reprints. Crush Contraband is kind of a standard all-in-one. Destroy artifacts or enchantments. I'll kind of go through the basic stuff here. These are, I'll just kind of buzz through. But these are just solid reprints. Ghostly Prison is a favorite of mine. Creatures can't attack unless their controller pays 2 colors for each creature they control that's attacking you. Very, very great card. So some solid reprints already. Swords of Plowshare is a standard in white. Of course, you got your removal. Arcane Denial, just a great counter spell for blue. Of course, we want our counter spells in blue if you can help it. Distant Melody. Let's see what else we got here. Nothing crazy so far, but some solid stuff. Whenever you cast a spirit or arcane spell, you may draw a card. We got Card Draw, Spectral Sailor, another repeat kind of reprint that's solid. I like this one a lot. This is a Droskil Captain. He costs 3, flyer, 2/2, but the big thing is all the spirit creatures you control get +1/+1 have hexproof. So not only is an Anthem, he keeps your spirit safe from targeted removal. Very, very good, and that includes your commander, of course. So yeah, he's really, really good. So they put some diamonds, sky diamonds in here, marble diamonds, nothing too exciting there. A Commander Spear I'm not a huge fan of, but those are pretty decent. We got our signets now, which is probably the best stuff we can get in here. So Azorius Signet, Locket, and of course Arcane Signet, which is a must in every Commander deck, and our ever-present Soul Ring, which goes in literally every Commander deck because it's the best. All right, we'll get to the mana base now here, or at least some of it. We have our typical bounce land. I'm not a huge fan of these, but they're not bad. Command Tower, of course, your usual sack lands where basically you pull a couple of basics from it. Path of Ancestry, which should go into every tribal pretty much. And our unfortunate Temple of False card. I absolutely really don't like this card. But it's usable. Unclaimed Territory, which is great. You choose a creature type and you pay mana, or you get mana color of any type for that creature. So this is actually a pretty solid card to add in. And then, of course, well, they threw random planes in there just to throw me off. Now, they added some new reprints of some things in here, and I'll go over a couple of the decent ones in here. We have usually our alternate commanders that they put in the decks. And this one partners with, and these are alternate commanders, the partner commanders, which I'm a huge fan of. So we have Rhoda, Geist Avenger, Human Soldier. You partner her with Tearin. She's a 3/3 vigilance for 4. Whenever a creature an opponent controls becomes tapped, if it isn't being declared as an attacker, you put a counter on her, +1/+1 counter. So that's interesting. So how do you tap the things without them attacking you? Probably with her partner, Tearin, Useful Geist, flying at the beginning of each combat, tap up to 1 target creature. So yeah, so basically he's going to end up buffing her up as they go along, and they're partners, so that's kind of cool. Unfortunately, the only thing is he costs more than her, so you're going to want to get him out first so he can buff her. So you're going to be waiting a little while. That's not a huge fan of that, but if you need a defender, you can get her out first. I'm probably sticking with Millicent, though, as my commander. Yeah, some other ones in here. Draw School Reinforcements for 4. 2/2 with melee. When it attacks, it gets +1/+1 for each opponent you attacked. But it gives all your other spirits melee, which is great. And then prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to spirits you control. If anything, I'm just going to leave this out in the battlefield because it prevents all non-combat damage. So basically, you cast somebody casts a Blasphemous Act or something, they're not going to take any damage. That's a great card to have in there just for the ability. On a library, this is awesome. So 2-cost enchantment. Whenever a creature an opponent control dies, you can pay 1. And then if you do, you get a 1/1 spirit creature. It's unlimited. You can do it as many times, as people's stuff dies. So as somebody does a board wipe, you pay a bunch of mana and you get a bunch of free spirits. That is a great card. I love that right there, especially for spirits. Priest of the Blessed Graph for 3. Beginning of your end step, create X 1/1 spirit tokens with flying, where X is the number of opponents who control more lands than you. That could be payoff a little bit. Not a ton, but it could be pretty decent, actually. I kind of dig that. Storm of Souls for 6. Return all creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Each of them is a 1/1 spirit with flying in addition to its other types. And then you exile this. It's kind of interesting. So I guess it brings a bunch of stuff back and makes some spirits. So that's not too bad. We'll burn through some of these as we play with it. And I can't go through everyone here because we'll be here all day. But we got quite a few decent reprints in here. Disorder of the Court. Oh, that looks cool. You pay 2 and X, exile X creatures, then investigate X times. I love investigate. That's a great mechanic. Return the exile cards to the battlefield tapped under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So basically, you get to blink stuff, and then you get a bunch of clue tokens for investigating, which you pay 2, of course, sack a clue token, you draw a card. So we're going to go through this here. Some great cards. Angel Flight, Alabaster. Basically, return spirit cards from the graveyard to your hand. You get your spirits back. Boros Charger, stuff we've seen before. Fell the Mighty, of course. That's great. Howled Spirit Keeper, Karmic Guide, just some solid stuff. Kurtar's Wrath, I haven't seen that in a while. That's pretty cool. So it's a Wrath of God, but you get some spirit tokens back if you have several more cards in your graveyard. Just actually a cool threshold card. Knight of the White Orchid, Mender of the Meek, all stuff we've seen before. Mirror Entity to buff your spirits. I haven't seen that one. Whenever you cast a Spirit or Arcane spell, you create a 3/3 white spirit. That's pretty nice. So it makes more spirits, of course. Let's see if we get to anything that hits Windborne Muse. Very solid. They can't attack you unless they pay 2 for each creature they control attacking you. So you're basically going to be sitting there with everybody not able to mess with you. Flood of Tears. I really, really, really wish they'd reprint Cyclonic Rift, but it's not going to be in this deck, that's for sure. Imprisoned in the Moon. I love that. Emrakul. Stuck in the Moon. And enchant creature, land, or planeswalker becomes a colorless to tap for a colorless mana. Kami of the Crescent Moon, that's a good one. 2 cost, 1/3 at the beginning of each player's draw step. That player draws an additional card. Very cool. I didn't expect that from Kamigawa in there. Midnight Clock. Some other decent stuff in here. Other spirits you control get +1/+1 from Supreme Phantom. So a lot of Anthem effects, a lot of things. A Dovin Grand Arbiter. So they threw a planeswalker in here. That's kind of random. I wouldn't have called that. So yeah, for those that can look him up, he's an okay planeswalker. I wouldn't have called him in a spirit deck. Geist of Saint Traff. Oh, that's a good one right there. So 3 cost hexproof 2/2. Whenever he attacks, you create a 4/4 white angel creature token flying that's tapped and attacking, and you exile it at the end of combat. That is a great card, and he's hexproof. Very, very solid stuff for a spirit deck. And then you got your mana base, Exotic Orchid, which, you know, add 1 mana of any land that an opponent controls. This is a Moorland Haunt. You exile a creature card from your graveyard and you create spirits. That's kind of cool. Port Town, as it enters the battlefield, you may reveal a plains or island card from your hand. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. Solid little card. Prairie Stream. This one, these I love. You basically, it's a dual land where it enters tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. For a 2-color deck, you're going to have that, so it's going to come in tapped. And you can fetch it because it has the subtypes. You got your standard filter lands, your scry dual lands. They've been kind of doing this a lot with the commander decks lately, so that's actually pretty nice. And then, of course, you got this thick kind of cardboardy version of your face commander, which actually I really like these. I use these quite a bit, just because they're nice. I like how they look. And then, of course, you have your standard tokens, your spirit tokens, and things like that, including a 3/3 spirit token. It's kind of cute. So yeah, overall, I'm excited to try this out. It looks interesting. Actually, it looks more, I will say, more synergistic maybe than the vampire commander deck that they also put out. I am excited to play spirits. I think they're actually really, really cool, and are largely lacking decent commanders and some mixed effects because they can kind of go all over the place. Spirits kind of do a lot of different things. But yeah, I'm excited to get a Spirit Tribal going. This looks like a lot of fun, guys. I highly recommend picking it up. It has some decent reprints, some solid cards, and some great new ones for like $40. It's crazy. The value on this has been awesome lately, especially for these commander decks. So I highly recommend picking this up. This is definitely worth the value. And again, if you like Spirit Tribal at all, you want to go grab it like now. Thanks again to Cool Comics and Games, Tom Lotz, for getting this out to us. This is Anthony with Tabletop Misfits. Thanks for checking out and tearing it up. Steven the Demon will be back again. You guys take care and keep gaming.